Hey Storm fans, Brent Cook here, and today I have the one and only Alex McKinley with me. Hello, Alex.
Hey Bryant, how you doing tonight?
Doing okay, playing in a little bit of what I think is a slight lame duck meta. No offense to ducks, but here we are.
Yeah, you had some podcast about it, about these silly Oko Thief of Crowns and Dreadhorde Arcanist cards that Wizards of the Coast should probably ban next Monday.
Eh, I mean, I don't want to. They should, but I don't think we should expect anything. Typically,
Hmm.
not the fastest moving group.
That's
But
reasonable.
but we're here tonight to play some Legacy, right?
Yep.
In front of us is 11.4. It's the main 60 hasn't changed in the last few versions. 4 Red of Flame, 3 Opal, 3 Chrome. It's our bread and butter. The main difference is just a fetch land swap. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and then in the sideboard, we've been trying out uh, some different options as the meta has glacially moved slightly sometimes.
Yeah. So we are running a third copy of Abrupt Decay. That is for these control decks that are now running more and more permanent based hate due to some other decks in the metagame. Mono Green Post has inspired a lot of control decks to run Dampening Sphere, for example.
Hmm.
And I would say
And the
that
big
Elves has caused these control decks to run a few candidates. So if you look at the Anurag Das, NZD, Snow Day list, you'll see two canonists and one damping sphere.
Mhm. Yeah, and then the other notable exclusion from the sideboard is Chain of Vapor. There aren't a lot of decks where Chain of Vapor isn't equivalent to Abrupt Decay as much anymore. The Death and Tax of the world have, in terms of meta share, disappeared a little bit. You don't expect to see Depths that option often, and Depths is a good enough matchup anyway that you don't necessarily need it. So that's the card that's been cut. The one thing that Abrupt Decay can't answer is Karn the Great Creator. But if a Karn the Great Creator resolves, you're so likely to lose that match anyway, or lose that game anyway. That is just not worth playing to that scenario.
I'd agree with that. The one other difference that we have in the sideboard is a copy of Extract. This is mostly for Oops All spells, but also Doomsday. Alex, why would we run Extract?
So Extract removes the Thassa's Oracle from these decks, which is generally the fast win condition. Once you remove the Thassa's Oracle, the threat of your opponent comboing off decreases. They can still win the game with something like a Street Wraith or just attacking with a Balustrade Spy over and over again, but that is much easier to beat than the blisteringly fast pace that those decks could otherwise present.
I would also agree with that. Alex, do you have any final thoughts on this list that we're going to play today?
I am suspect of Pulverize in this metagame. I know Bryant loves the card, so we're going to stick with it for now, but that's the slot that I have my eye on for changes.
You say that, Alex, but this is the one card that Alex and I disagree on. Alex is very pro cutting Pulverize for a Chain of Vapor, which is fine. Uh, I still use Pulverize quite a bit, and not even just versus like quote unquote Chalice decks. I use it in matchups where you wouldn't expect, like blue decks, for example, where they have a Null Rod or a Damping Sphere. Like I have Burning Wish for Pulverize and, cast it. I realize that it's not like a huge percentage, but then again, you even said that the death and taxes of the world don't exist anymore, and the value of Chain of Vapor isn't super high. So I'd personally rather have an out to a main deck Chalice than be cold.
Hmm.
But that's
Yeah, so
sorry. Go ahead.
it's all reasonable. It's all uh, small innovations. I don't think playing one or the other is going to drastically break the deck either way.
I would agree with that. Well, that's the deck tech. We will have round one coming up in just a second. Welcome to round number one. Here with Alex McKinley still, and we're facing Alt Nicolo. We're on the draw. Alex, what do you think of this hand?
This hand is extremely explosive. So our opponent did reveal a Yorion as their companion. So this generally means one of two things: either a slower snow control deck or Death and Taxes. We have quite the explosive hand that will just mostly run over Death and Taxes in game one. So that seems like a pretty good gamble to me.
Honestly, I'd even keep it against Snow, but maybe we'll get lucky and draw a defense grid, and nothing will matter.
Hmm. Yeah, our opponent did mulligan to 6, so
Verdant Catacombs.
into
Uh-oh. Ancestral Visions. They're on Shardless.
well, that's kind of eh.
Peanut butter and jam, Alex. Peanut butter and jam.
Yep.
Hopefully they forcible this Lion's Eye Diamond. Force it.
So there's a couple of questions about what to get here. We could just empty our opponent. We could try to peer.
I'm all in for the
We
pier.
could front half echo. But yeah, I think if this wish resolves, casting peer is the best option.
I'd agree. Gives us the highest win percentage, and our opponent had the force. They're 60%, and we're just going to go to game 2. No need to play the rest of that one out.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking, like, you had a brainstorm. Why didn't you cast it on turn 1? Well, I don't think that actually improves your odds of winning the game at all. Like, maybe you hit a land drop, but you're very unlikely to hit Mana Source into Veil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to find land plus protection, and the things you need to do that is just so unlikely that just jamming is probably better.
All right, but we do know that our opponent's on Shardless, which means that we can take it a little slower in these post-board games.
I wonder if this is a variant of the Shardless Valky deck that's been popping up in a couple of different places.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if like we need 3 decay, like maybe we could get away with 2.
It's possible.
Maybe
It's hard to tell what all these snow decks are playing in the sideboard. Though I guess opponent did do well recently in the challenge, and their sideboard is Quad Laser, Opposition Agent, Plague Engineer, and Leyline in the Void.
Oh, I did not see that. For opposition agents, just very hateful.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you think of this hand?
This hand's weird. Like, it's got a lot of good blue cards, and it's basically a mull to 6 already because we're going to do something like Chromox, Pitch, Ponder, then cast one of our cantrips. But we have some mana. We have cantrips to find other things. But I like just playing lands in these matchups. I know you don't mind keeping more aggressive hands like this, but
So
I'm going to keep it.
I mean, honestly, I think that this is a keep. So the thing is, like you said, it is essentially a mulligan to 6. Do you think that this hand, well, essentially starting this hand without a ponder, and if this was a land, would you keep on a 6?
Yeah, probably. So
I agree. So that's why this is a keep to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there's an interesting question here on whether or not you imprint brainstorm and keep double ponder, because the brainstorm says that you want to fix your draws. But honestly, I'm kind of fine with what we have, so I'm almost game for imprinting the brainstorm and just using these ponders.
Yeah, I can see replacing the Lotus Petal at some point, but I'm down to just cast a couple of ponders here. Because at this point, we're just looking for a couple of lands and protection, which isn't quite what that is.
Yikes. All right, no land. That's fine.
Yeah, the Mox Opal might have given me pause for thought, but the 2 Burning Wishes there are just not even close to what we're looking for. So I think we just have to shuffle there.
I did pause for thought for what it's worth. It's just the Burning Wishes are just not good, so...
Yeah. All right.
I think I like jamming a Claw here. Next turn we can ponder looking for another land and then play the other one.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to get out on curve here.
Yep. Just use our mana more efficiently here and effectively draw ourselves a Dark Ritual if this resolves. And I'll take the Hymn to Turok mode too.
Agreed.
Especially if they're pitching Oko.
Thoughtseize. I imagine we're losing Bushclaw here.
Yeah. Hey. So the reason we cast Ponder here is that we just want to continue making our land drops to continue to develop. And we find our lands.
I think I'm honestly fine with just jamming the claw here.
I agree. Given they pitched an Oko to their force negation, I think it's weirdly likely that they probably, or weirdly unlikely that they don't have another. These snow decks are often limited on the number of blue cards they have. And because it's the 80 card deck, they just have, wow, opponent opened on triple force effect.
They are on 80 cards, which, it works one of two ways. They either play a lot of forces, being 8 post board, or they stick to their 2 or whatever. And I have a feeling that our opponent's probably playing the full 8, if I had to take a guess.
I think they are too.
That wasn't bad. So the question here is whether or not we try to build to pier or not. So we're going to get hit by Wasteland next turn. Obviously, goblins are off the table. We could also try to echo.
So, yeah, we have
Assuming
3,
that
4,
this gets hit
5,
by
6.
Wasteland, we'll have 5 mana.
Yeah.
This is a tough call.
I think if we take Echo, we have more outs, just like so many more outs on the next turn to be able to Echo next turn, right?
Yeah, the problem is that it's symmetrical. So,
True.
I don't know.
Our opponent has shown us that they've played discard too.
Yeah, maybe Echo's just the right call. So I'm going to play up a pedal here, because if they cast a Thoughtseize, we can always ritual in response.
And force them to take the Echo, yeah. Our opponent's deck is built very much to beat combo matchups, it feels.
I'd agree. Maybe we should have taken Pier. So I understand the logic, but something I didn't say out loud because you were talking was we only have 3 draws in Dark Rituals that allow you to catch up, which isn't true when we have Carpets in our deck. So Carpet was an out that I wasn't considering.
That's fair.
But it looks like we're
Echo
going to
does
get one
have
of our permits turned into an Elk here.
Yeah, Echo does have the additional 4 outs of LED.
Yeah, but it's at the cost of being symmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we can hardcast here.
I think going to combat might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I did it though. So,
I would have just attacked them. We're never getting this Oko off the board. So one of the reasons why going to combat here is awkward for us is because if we draw Carpet, it doesn't make mana.
To be fair, it's only +1, but yes.
Yeah. All right.
I think I'm just going to pass.
Yeah. We did have the option of Veil try to Echo again, but I think just passing and letting us do more is better.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a coward, you could sacrifice your pedal to Veil there. I just don't think that's the correct play. If they want to Thoughtseize me here, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. We already have access to a Storm Engine, basically.
can't remember the last time I faced a Shardless deck. Like, I'm pretty sure this might be my first Shardless match post Solaris.
Yeah, I think people are just abusing the interaction between the 2-mana Valky / Tibalt Planeswalker to Shardless themselves into a 7-mana spell.
Yes, that would be correct. Okay, so I lied. This is my second match against Shardless. And there's the Thoughtseize.
And double Wasteland. We're just going to be put back into the Stone Age here.
I actually don't think it's that bad due to this carpet. So we still have a Trop we can fetch for.
Hmm?
I will imagine that they take the LED here, but I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't really have an option to play out the LED because that just gets elked.
Correct. Wishclaw.
Except...
No fear. Panda. Oh, I did it again. Oh, that was a mistake. I'm a dummy.
Yep.
That was just a misclick.
Yeah. I'm kind of... Yeah, I think opponent kind of has to block here.
So new plan. I'm just going to ponder and then play carpet.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
What if new plan? We draw this Lion's Eye Diamond and cast Veil of Summer. That carpet's probably still better. I don't know. I guess we have the Burning Wish on top of our deck, so we could just try to Natural Tendrils our opponent on the next turn.
Yeah, I also think that our opponent probably has double interaction if they were willing to leave us with Veil. So I like having access to the Burning Wish here.
Yeah. I like them tapping mana because if their sideboard hasn't changed and they still have the 4 opposition agents, it's kind of terrifying.
Well, we didn't fetch, so if they have opposition agent, our fetch land is going to look kind of bad.
Yeah.
What is this?
Uro?
Agent.
Shardless. Neat.
Ooh.
Ooh. I guess we could Veil that? That's probably the play.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a great draw.
Wow.
Boom.
That worked out wonderfully for us. I'm shocked opponent didn't have interaction. All right.
All right, we are not attacking right now. Just for the record, not attacking.
We could probably like...
So I don't think I want to attack still. I think I want to try to play this grid.
I agree. It feels like this grid will likely resolve, given our Veil resolved.
I mean, they also could have just been holding it, knowing that they could force the Echo this turn. But that's apparently not what happened.
Yeah.
Echo time.
Yep.
And I'm going to float black, which Alex hates doing. But I think it's the correct play here due to our opponent being at a life that dies to tendrils.
Yeah.
All right, so we still have a bunch of mana from this carpet. And by a bunch, I mean 2, but we're lacking an action spell, so let's dig. Another Ponder. So I'm actually going to keep this Ponder here. And then play the other carpet, switch phases, and then make more mana. because that lets us
Yep.
see 2 extra cards.
That's just the mathematically correct play. And this extra black that we're sacrificing doesn't really matter. Because we have the Dark Ritual in hand, and mana isn't our bottleneck at this point.
All right, so we're going to add blue-red because we have the black to imprint off of Chrome Mox.
Mm-hmm. And we don't need to land in it, I don't think. Referring to, and there we go, holding priority and cracking our lion's eye diamonds.
I mean, I wouldn't take that play here anyway. We're not losing the game if we pass.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like to call it the Schwartz.
The
Landon
Schwartz,
I added a CH in there for no reason. My apologies, Landon. Would never mean to offend you.
All right.
So we won the long game, which means that the short game in game 1 was clearly a mistake. And Echo of Aeons is OP.
Yeah. I mean, that Echo wasn't symmetrical. We got to draw 8 cards.
All
Our
right.
opponent only got to draw 7.
On the draw for game number 3. We did see him to Torok. So something that I've done in these matchups before is actually, instead of having zeros in the deck, bring in right, so that way all of your cards are just good against discard. So if we were to do that, I'd probably board out these 4.
Yeah, we didn't see as many hate permanents, but given they're an 80-card deck, it's hard to tell what we didn't see because they didn't have it, or what we didn't see because they didn't draw it.
True. I think I'm just going to run back the same configuration.
Mm.
Looks like a Keepa.
Yep.
We have Alex's least favorite land in our hand.
I mean, I feel like it's also your least favorite land.
Yeah, but like, if you could, you would probably marry Tropical Island, where I'm just like, it's a land in the mana base.
I don't know. I like my green lands. They cast my favorite card, Carpet of Flowers.
Alex is emotionally attached to Carpet because he was right about a card once. So now anything involving Carpet, he's just big fan.
So opponent on their Malda 6.
So this is interesting because next turn we could try to plow through. And I don't hate keeping the Burning Wish on top to help play through him to Torok either.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a tension between playing stuff out and getting it thought seized. Playing stuff out leaves it vulnerable to Oko or Abrupt Decay. But I think we can just play it out here. I don't think the storm count particularly matters.
So there's 2 reasons. 1, we can't afford to get this discarded, but 2, playing the Petal out says, hey, I have Veil of Summer, and our opponent's less likely to try to hem us.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Hello, Veil of Summer. So we kind of just do it all this turn.
Really? I was thinking we might pass. Like, why force anything right now?
That's fair. I don't hate passing either. I guess the argument for not passing is playing into Oko.
Ooh, Badlands. So they're 4-color.
Interesting.
Honestly, if they play Oko and try to Oko the LED, I'm fine with veiling.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this
That's
card.
also fine.
I mean, I guess we veil.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably going to take the Veil anyway with Thoughtseize. This just takes the decision away from our opponent. And Veil is going to trade with Force of Will anyway,
What about
so this is all
these?
fine.
What about
They
these,
decided
though?
not to cast Oko. That's crazy. The top card of our deck is a Chrome Box?
It's a ponder.
Ponder. Okay.
Although, I don't hate going for it. Like, if their last two cards
Yeah.
are another force, like, sure.
Yeah.
But I think we should cast ponder first here, just to make sure that we don't have any better options. And I'm going to shuffle that. Alright, yeah, I'm in for going for it.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. All right. Ad nauseum.
Let's do it. Hey.
All right.
This is the game that we have not cast Echo of Aeons. So we're at a point where if we flip Echo, we are dead. We can play out Carpet and add 2 mana, and then play
We do have a
Long
land drop.
Pass. I don't think we can die, and then we're in a pretty good spot moving forward. So let's fetch Alex's favorite land in Tropical Island.
Nice blue-green duels. Best duel in Legacy.
That is just wrong. It is not the best one Legacy. So because we have so many cards in hand, I honestly don't even hate adding black mana here, casting Ritual, and just playing both Claws.
Yep. And then we also have the option to cast Brainstorm as well, or just even the second carpet off Mox Opal.
I was thinking the other carpet, personally.
Yep.
We are almost to the city's blessing.
Yeah, with this Abrupt Decay in hand, it's hard to be too scared of anything that they could find off the Talisman.
I guess the scariest thing would be like Opposition Agent, but we have that covered.
Yeah.
As long as we draw, I guess we have the Black Source and the Opal, so that's not even true, and the carpets.
Yep.
Alex, I won't lie. I've thought a lot about going back to 5-color.
Yeah. Want silence?
Yeah, like an out to Mindbreak Trap, because it's been such a pain in, the buns, is like if we ran 4 Veil, 3 Silence. Because we have Carpet now, we have Mox Opal. You wouldn't need to run Gold Lands necessarily, or if you wanted to, you could probably just run 2. But
Yeah.
I just don't think it's worth it. And what a great cascade here for our opponent. Yeah. But I don't think Silence is actually better than our current plan with Defense Grid, which turns on our opals and other things. It's just like, it's okay to have thoughts or ideas, but also understand that they're not better than what you're currently doing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that our opponent gets to play Wasteland. Not that this Wasteland here is particularly painful because we have so much mana.
The right play to be, to Wasteland themselves. I was about to say that out loud.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, so we go to 4 here. Draw our land.
Make some black mana, just because we don't have a lot of it. And I'm going to cast Brainstorm. That was a very fast resolve.
Yeah, I think our plan here should be to peer.
Why?
We can just natural storm them, right?
I think so. But I want to cast Brainstorm first.
It's a lot of veils.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. So now we have, all right, Veil, Snap, Resolve, Storm is 3. Each claw is 4 or 5. Petal is 6. Wish is 7. Tendrils is 8. This is just deterministic. Find like LED Dark Ritual.
I mean, I was going to cast Brainstorm, but it looks like you don't want to. It's fine.
I mean, I guess we could cast Brainstorm.
I mean,
but...
it's just like the best card in Legacy. We're not going to cast it. I mean, whatever. Like something. The best Brainstorm is the one you never cast, right? That's what.
Yeah, that's some heuristic somewhere.
I'm going to cast it. I didn't come here to not cast Brainstorm, you know? What if we just get Mindbraid trapped out of this decade right here? Like,
do we have enough mana to... We have enough mana to like search for defense grid?
We do not.
Or no, we don't. A little bit of lag on the screen.
Don't admit that to our viewers, Alex. Jeez. Alright, and now we're casting Tendrils. Take that, Shardless, if that is your real name. Alright, we are 1-0 over Shardless Bug 4-color pile. Stay tuned. Welcome to match number 2. We are on the play, and I say we because I still unfortunately have Alex here. Yeah, Alex, what do you think of this opening hand?
This hand opener is great.
Why is it great?
I think that there's... Because we had this turn 1 Echo Vions that we don't have to cast on turn 1.
Ooh.
We do have the option, just like last round, to jam into the Void. I wouldn't. Bryant might. Let's see what happens.
Well, if Alex doesn't want to do it, we're definitely doing it. Alright, so my game plan here is to cast a turn 2 Burning Wish for Thoughtseize. Try to clear the way a little bit. Thoughtseize is one of those cards in the sideboard where the way that we try to build our board is to always have high impact cards, and what a great draw is to always have high impact cards. Thoughtseize is probably the lowest impact card in the board, but I do think it plays a critical role.
Before we start casting spells, is there an argument to Mox pitch Burning Wish, cast Burning Wish, leaving up our black source so we can Thoughtseize this turn?
I want to hold it for next turn, and the thought philosophy behind that is if they have nothing, we can peer. But I don't want to do that if I don't have to.
That makes sense.
Because, like, we would just have to draw mana. That's it. Like, I don't think that's an unreasonable ask.
There's also the Echo this turn option, which is what I was thinking about with drawing the second LED.
Nah, I think that's a little too aggressive, personally.
Okay.
When I was doing the video with Brian Koval, he very much did not like the play patterns that I play the deck in. I tend to play a little conservatively, and Holy Bananas Batman, maybe not a blue deck after all.
We just got punked.
we still do have this Burning Wish. Yeah, they certainly got us there.
All right, let's wish for Grape Shot.
Yeah. Well, we can't cast it this turn.
True.
Unfortunately.
We can pitch the Dark Ritual and cast the Thoughtseize as an option.
Yeah, that's fine. Get that green sun out of here. Trash person card. How dare you play a Valley against me?
Yeah, we definitely got punked by the Misty Rainforest out of our opponent, and that Wasteland here is just brutal.
Well, we also got punked by our opponent's Goldfish history.
Yeah.
Their Goldfish history is all blue-white decks in Standard, so there's a reasonable chance that they were on a blue deck. But we do have Echo this, not this turn, Grape Shot. Burning Wish for Grape Shot this turn, next turn Echo. Words are tough.
Just saying, my line on turn 2 would have been better.
Yeah, but
There's
like,
no hindsight bias there at all.
sure.
Definitely, like, we read the wrong way into the Misty. There's not much we can do about that. So,
Let's get her off the table.
mm-hmm.
I am
Sure.
fine with you swordsing your own Thalia. I promise.
That is A-okay in my book as well.
One less Thalia in the deck for you to redraw. You just gave us the Storm count for winning this turn anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to make Alex too happy, but this is a situation where I would consider floating 2 blue.
Yeah. It's especially because we haven't played our land yet.
Oh, yeah. I believe that this is just a win.
Yep.
Just want to think this through for a second. It's fine here to imprint Brainstorm. I just want to make sure we didn't get that first storm count.
Yeah, we're going to hit Storm 11.
Thankfully, we have this Lotus Petal for red.
Yeah. Both of our red lands in play already. Or that you can fetch off Polluted Delta anyway.
Hey, take that, Maverick. How dare you play Thalia against me? Not up in here. Not up in here. Alright, so Echo is a terrific magic card.
Yep. Take that, all the haters of Echo. But sideboard-wise, guess we probably don't want these Veil of Summers.
It's just like instinct for me to click on grid, but like I need to remember that like sometimes people play Mindbrew Trap.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And while we wait, I'm going to chill for a second. If you're unfamiliar with my content, the Eternal Glory podcast, it is myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Phil Gallagher and Brian Koval. No Alex McKinley. So make sure to check that out. I promise it's great.
Man, I'm just missing out on all the good content.
All right. So we are back for game number 2. All right, Alex, since I've been asking you about every opening hand so far, what do you think of this?
This hand's so close, dude. So this hand makes 6 mana because we can use our Wishclaw Talisman as the third artifact for Opal. Other than that, it doesn't really do anything. It's the hand that like I think you're supposed to keep, but like I'm a little bit unhappy about because it's so unlikely to do anything on turn 1 unless we draw LED or Ritual. So I guess that's 7 outs to do something on 1.
I will agree with you that I think it is a begrudging keep. What I like about this is that it has mana. And what that says to me is if our opponent opens on Deafening Silence or, you know, something along those lines, we have the resources to fight back instead of just mulliganing into an aggressive hand that loses.
Yep.
And they put a Thalia into their hand off that.
Okay, so we know they have Thalia next turn.
Ooh, not what we needed. I think we're playing the long game.
Unfortunately.
Go away, virus protection, making noise.
So normally I don't like.
Oh wait, why did I tap my land? That was, for some reason I was like, yeah, I have to tap my land to play this Lotus Petal. Ooh.
He already thought that the Thalia was in play, and they have the Caracas. That's just.
Well, I mean, it doesn't change much because we're probably casting Decay on their end step, assuming that we do draw it.
Mm. I definitely would have thought about playing Dark Ritual Claw. Normally, I don't like that because it's not an efficient use of cards and mana.
I don't.
But because we have so many lands in our hand, and it turns on Metalcraft for Mox Opal, and there's a Thalia coming down, I think I would have.
Am I allowed to talk?
Actually done it.
It doesn't change anything. All we're doing is burning a card from our hand. We don't have the resources to win right now. So why would you burn a Dark Ritual? Like, all it does is discard a card from your hand. Like, next turn we're going to cast this Wishclaw. And it only changes if we draw exactly one of our 3 outs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm comfortable here just casting Claw and passing.
Yep.
Like, I just don't think that's a great line. So on our next turn, my plan is to cast Brainstorm main phase and then reevaluate.
Yeah.
And then playing the Scavenging Ooze does not change their clock due to Exalted. Banishing Light, that's a spicy one.
That's very unexpected. And also just kind of puts us in the dirt.
It's fine. Yeah, they're hanging back on D. Alright, let's cast this Brainstorm. I think land number 5 might actually be better than this Opal. So
I agree.
that gets Taiga. I think I'd rather have Taiga in play.
Turn on our Metalcraft, develop our mana. You got like a turn or two to draw something here.
Ooh.
Oh.
Alright. So, our opponent got to do their thing this game. We did not. We're going to be on the play for game number 3.
Yep, that's definitely the danger of keeping that type of hand, is that if you miss on that first couple of draw steps, you're just in the dirt.
Yeah. So, would you change anything with being on the play?
No, we didn't see any hint of like a black splash or anything like that. Nothing makes me want Veil of Summer. It's not clear that they have Maverick Trap, but defense returns on Metalcraft. So I guess like the only consideration would be to board out grids for Veils just because they have lower converted mana cost.
While we wait, why don't you, the viewer, head over to theepicstorm.com/shop to show your support. We have tons of cool card singles. Recently, there were some vintage cards uploaded if you're into that sort of thing. Japanese Toying Academies. If you're a Dirty Chalice player, there's a City of Traders for you to pick up. Go check that out.
Mm-hmm. But while you're here on the video, if you leave us a like and a subscription to the channel, it really helps us out to continue to make all this content for you. We really appreciate it. Opponent's still reconfiguring for game 3.
Since Alex mentioned our social media channels, they are in the description below. Go check those out. Alright, so it looks like our opponent is ready.
Alright. On the play, here we go.
So, this is a guaranteed turn 2 Echo. I think I'm fine with that.
I guess.
You don't get a say in this one, Alex. I think it's fine.
Alright.
Like, if you mulligan this, I think that's just really greedy.
Mm.
So, part of playing around that is we are going to get our basic here. Playing out the Lotus Petal first helps slightly play around Force of Vigor.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking to draw a Lion's Eye Diamond for turn. Gross.
Well, nothing matters. So Talisman can find Abrupt Decay.
Not Natalia.
Alright, Sigh of Relief.
I don't hate burning the petal here to brainstorm. What do you think?
It's close because the petal is also our green source, but in general, I don't mind it.
Well, we can wait. It's just that I don't know. Let's just pass, I guess. Because it's not like even if we drew Decay, we could cast it. I am a little bit afraid here of Green Sun Zenith, but that doesn't change a whole lot. It looks like they have a blue splash, which is interesting.
Alright. I guess opponents playing Banishing Light to beat Oko, but shouldn't that just be
Hmm,
Skyclave?
I don't know. Interesting that they didn't
None of
play
it's
Oko.
good. Yeah,
I think the scariest card here is actually Knight.
I agree. Does mean we kind of lose our claw, but it also means that we're not losing all of our lands to a wasteland lock from the Knight of the Reliquary.
And also it's that Knight kills us very quickly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to cast the Brainstorm.
Hmm.
If we can top deck a Decay, we can add Nauseam next turn, assuming that they don't oak our claw.
Or if we top deck the Ad Nauseam.
Nope, that's not how definitely. Yeah, I guess we could do that.
All right.
All right.
Fetching our upkeep, find the lovely tropical island, I guess.
It's probably going to get wasted though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wonder. I don't think any of those cards do anything. Well, that's A.
Need to hit a lot of runners here.
Yep. Yeah, that's not a shock.
So we need to hit fetch land into a tutor in order to realistically still be in this game. I guess we could draw tutor fetch land.
This looks like Grinsons.
I think
All
we're
right.
just out of this.
Well, yeah.
All right, I'm going to save some time and just concede. So that puts us to 1-1. I'd like to go over this a little bit. So normally in a stock list like 10.8, we would have 2 copies of Chain of Vapor. The way that the metagame is shaped out recently, we feel pressure to run a 3rd Decay, and then the extract slot would be Chain of Vapor number 2. Due to Oops All Spells becoming a big part of the metagame, along with Doomsday, that it's been fairly consistent. Like, those two have been like the 4th and 5th most popular decks in the meta, so Extract ends up being pretty good there. Where we're seeing the squeeze in the board right now is the fact that the blue decks are so good. So when you look at our board, we have 7 cards for blue decks. And then we have like next to nothing for non-blue. So that's where we're feeling squeezed, because if we didn't have to represent or respect these blue decks as much, we could run those Chain of Vapors in the board, and like even in some older list, a Crash. Crash wouldn't have been good here because Crash doesn't interact with deafening sounds, but you get to play those flex options where now we do not.
Mm-hmm. And Chain of Vapor is great against these decks because it trades equal on mana with Deafening Silence and Thalia, whereas Decay is more expensive to answer those cards and comes down afterwards. So it's a little bit clunkier in these matchups and a little bit harder, especially when they have Wasteland and our mana is super pressured. Like we could have mulliganed more aggressively to do something on turn 1 to try and like beat the pressure of Deafening Silence, but like a turn 2 Echo is still pretty good.
Yeah.
And they have to have one of their 2 to 3 Deafening Silences.
For what it's worth, our first draw of the game was Dark Ritual. I might be wrong. I'd have to rewatch it, but I think we actually had an add-ons with the Ritual draw,
Yes.
which like you're not going to ship those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was match number 2. We'll be right back with match number 3, and we're back. All right. So Alex, I just faced this person last week. They were a Jeksai mentor. With this information, what do you think of these 7 cards?
It's closer than you'd expect. Like we have Ritual, we have Echo, we have Veil, but just no mana sources means it's just like it just doesn't do anything for me. I would ship this in a heartbeat.
Much better.
So much better. This is an easy bottom to me of one of the Ponders. Well, I guess there's like an outside shot of bottoming Rite of Flame because we don't have a red source, but I think just having the extra fast mana.
I was never keeping Rite of Flame, no matter what you said. I'm sorry.
See, Brian hates Rite of Flame just as much as I do.
No, I like Rite of Flame. It's just that it is not the right keep there.
Yeah. So this is a matchup where our opponent has cards like Counterbalance from a bygone era of Legacy.
Yowzers.
And the reason why we didn't play like a turn one Claw there or something like that, because our opponent does play Daze. That is a card that that deck is known to play.
On my next turn, I am considering Chromox Imprint Brainstorm into Grid.
I 100% agree. And we can leave up the Taiga to represent Veil of Summer.
I don't want to cast this Ponder anyway for what it's worth, because we know that we want the LED on top, so I want this next turn to possibly dig for Veil if we need it to.
Mm-hmm.
Force Pitch Force.
Accept. All right, so opponent's going to go to 4 cards again.
Funny how that works out.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's no drawback.
To force negation? You can't cast it on your own turn to protect your own stuff, Bryant. That's the drawback.
I was referring to the card disadvantage, Alex. Come on, keep up. Jeez.
I just wasn't aware that force negation was a card that produced card disadvantage. That's why the joke went over my head.
Alright, so there's on 4 cards still, and they passed. So
they did go bottom with their preordain.
They did do bottom. So we have 2 options here. We can peanut butter and jam, or we can cast this Ponder. What would you do?
I'm really tempted to jam here because they did go bottom. But
honestly, I want to Ponder. Because even if it misses, it's still likely to find a mana, and then we're in the same spot.
Mm-hmm. I guess notably they didn't play a land last turn.
That's pretty good.
Well, yeah. So one of the reasons to play the Lions on Diamonds first is because it makes this Wishclaw look more tempting as counterspell bait. And also if our opponent has a Daze, they think that we might want the last card in their hand, when joke's on them, Echo's better than the graveyard.
Speaking of Daze, and the second half of Alex's point was actually why I sequenced like that, because now I can crack this for blue and pay. And now we crack this one for green, and then flashback Echo of Aeons. And what this does is it allows us to keep Wishclaw for Veil open.
Ooh. This is all very good.
We are 1 storm short, though. Not counting the Wishclaw card. Mm-hmm. So we can Wishclaw for... Assuming that this resolves, we can Wishclaw. Actually, we can fight for this too.
Yeah.
I think I'm willing to fight over this.
Pitching Ethereal Forger.
I guess we have to draw a mana now?
Yeah, I think we still pay.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay. The double Daze.
I think that this is still fine.
I mean, we're pretty far behind at this point. But we have to remember, our opponent does play Counterbalance, so if they're probably not going to activate Claw this turn, but they could. And then next turn, they can play Counterbalance on a position where we don't have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. So we know opponent still has 2 lands in hand because they played a land that we hadn't seen yet.
So my plan here is to play Grid. Ooh, I don't mind that as a draw. and then we can play either. Uh, we have a lot of options here. So part of me wants to just ponder for a land and then play one of these. Wishclaw would allow us to ad nauseum, and if you Burning Wish, you get Pier, but I still feel like it's a little bit away. I'm gonna ponder here, just praying to hit a land because I think that puts us really far ahead.
I would even take a Chrome Mox and imprint one of our cards.
That was good.
Yeah, I would definitely Petal Claw here. Or no, we don't even need to do that. I'm crazy.
No need at all.
Yep. So and our opponent can't even get out from under the defense grid here.
We will have Echo out of our main deck, and we will have Tendrils out of our main deck as well, which means that this hypothetical ad nauseum would be very effective. My heart skipped a beat.
Deploys a second Dreadhorde.
I thought there was a chance there that that was a counterbalance. Having nightmares, flashbacks from the Miracles era.
Fortunately for us, Arcanum's Ashleigh has no Sensei's Divining Top.
Honestly, if Top was still legal, I think we'd be playing it.
I agree.
It'd be the perfect artifact to turn on our opals.
Yep.
Unban Top. I don't think that would actually be healthy for Legacy, but screw everyone else. Unban Top.
Yep. So Echo's out of our deck.
So is Tendrils. Doesn't hurt. Well, now it hurts. So we have Storm 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 being Tendrils for exactly lethal.
Easy game.
And that does not count a possible cantrip we could cast. Huzzah! Always had it. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Imagine playing Dreadhorde Arcanist and a Monastery Mentor when you could just be casting defense grids. I don't know what our opponent was thinking.
And Wishclaw Talismans? Like, I know they have two in play, but...
Well, I did hear from a very reputable site that Wishclaw Talisman is not very good or will not fundamentally change the Epic Storm. Alex, do you have any commentary on that?
I have never read that in my life.
Okay.
I don't know where you're getting this information from. It sounds like not a reputable news source.
For those of you that are unfamiliar, I highly recommend you check out the Alex McKinley article. It's a card review of the card Wishclaw Talisman. Go check that out. I promise you, it's a great read.
Spoiler, I was very wrong. So against the counterbalance deck, we want Decay. Because our opponent's playing a blue deck, we definitely want these Carpet of Flowers. It's kind of nice because our opponent is playing basically Delverless Delver with only 8 threats. So it's very hard for our opponent to actually put pressure on us. So we have lots of time to build up our mana, play a lot of lands. Potentially keep hands like this, though this is sketchy.
This hand is not sketchy. You're drunk. This hand's fine. It's fine.
This is the type of hand I would keep on a 6. I don't know about a 7.
Well, that's the difference between us, Alex.
Opponents meeting us with their basic mountain.
Oh, I would ship this hand. My name is Alex McKinley. Hand's great.
So there's 2 arguments for playing or not playing the carpet here. On one hand, opponent can't daze this. On the other hand, the carpet doesn't make any mana.
And I am aware of that. However, I am fine with, based on our hand, our opponent playing the I'll never play an island game. Because I think that just gives us the time and resources that we need.
Yeah. Do you want to meme our opponent by abrupt decaying this Astrolabe?
Hey, Alex, are you sure you wanted to ship this hand?
Well, when we draw perfect off the top.
Please tell me how this hand isn't good, Alex.
But actually, we should decay the Astrolabe.
I'm going to
If
do
we decay
another
the
upkeep.
Astrolabe, then they can't
I'm, aw-
counterbalance us.
I'm aware. I'm going to wait until their upkeep, see if they try to do anything on the end step.
For sure.
Like, there's just no reason to do it in our main phase when we can do it now. Because, like, hypothetically, let's say they had some sort of flash creature, like a Snapcaster Mage. They can't play Strix here,
Mm-hmm.
but some sort of flash spell or something like that. And now, like, de-incentivizes them from casting it.
Yep.
It's just, like, small advantages like that that help.
Opponent has decided to give us blue extra mana off our carpet.
Ooh, they tapped out from Menta.
All right. Take Dark Ritual.
So, in this exact scenario, Alex, silence would have been better. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So maybe we should cut green and play white.
True.
All right. So our opponent's like roughly 100% here to have a second force.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I was thinking it.
So we're gonna jam into their second force that like they're 100% to have here, and then we're gonna go to game 3. Oh, I see they're slow rolling the force. Very disrespectful.
Mm. I'm glad Bryant didn't crack for blue, so I couldn't try to talk him into potentially echoing front half, back half.
No, I'm not a coward. You just take the highest winning percentage lines. Like, that's all I do.
Mm-hmm.
Although, we should probably cast this ad nauseum. The Echo and the Tendrils are out. We only have 24 cards left in deck. Think of how many cards we can draw.
That's just BMing our opponent. I would put it under the Chromox, but that's me.
Like I said, there's a difference between us, Alex. So I believe I have enough mana here to play Defense Grid into the Tendrils in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here, blue.
And if not, we still have Wish Tendrils as an option.
All right, so we're pretty good at beating blue decks. Can never beat Thalia. How do you feel about this, Alex?
Sounds about right for the better Storm deck.
Ooh, ouch. I didn't say it this time. That was match number 3. We are now 2-1. Okay, Alex, we're now 2-1. We're in round number 4. We're facing Reapel Cheap. Alex, do you know what Reapel Cheap normally plays?
They're known for pushing the Cursed Stompy deck, though they've been branching out into other archetypes recently.
I recently faced them on the, I believe it's pronounced Amatu Miracles deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's many matchups where I ship this hand, so we're going to keep this. Oh no. Reapel Cheap said that they're back to their roots, which just means that we lose the game. But unfortunately for us, we do have this Pulverized card on our board that is live at the moment.
I guess it is. And fortunately, this chalice didn't come down on one, so we have lots of ways to start to build towards our land count. And there's our second mountain for Pulverized, so now we need our second tutor effect, and then we can start to do things.
That's pretty good. I mean, I'd rather they get the Wish now than the Pulverize next turn.
Mm-hmm. All right, this hand needs some fixing.
What about that?
That's pretty hot.
So it's worth noting that we can't get a mountain off this Verdant because we need it for Pulverize, so we can get Taiga up, which doesn't cast these blue cards. So basically, we just don't have another blue source. We don't have a second Volk. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. And I think I'm putting back the Tendrils. It's like Tendrils are a cantrip, but I don't see us getting up to Lethal Storm.
I think I agree with that. And the reason why we're keeping the third land here over one of the cantrips or something like that is that if our opponent just plays Trinisphere next turn, that's kind of bad for us.
Agreed. It's worth noting that we do have Veil of Summers and out to this Chalice Zero.
Fun with the tapped land. All right.
Get this Taiga. So,
all right.
Our opponent does play a really pesky. Words are tough. 4-mana Planeswalker that we will not say out loud. So, we could try to brainstorm right here into Veil plus mana, and that could theoretically allow us to win.
I think that's worth doing. Because we can still Wish Pulverize.
Yeah.
Regardless. So
the Wish Claw draw was good here for post Pulverize. That was pretty good. So we're gonna put a Ponder. Ponder Claw on top.
I think we get to cast the Pulverize this turn because we have so much artifact mana.
Is it worth doing though? Like, what if they just top deck a Trinisphere or
another
Chalice? Like,
yeah, I don't mind waiting. There's arguments going both ways.
Yeah. If we were winning this turn, I'd probably be more open to it. Well, now they have 5 mana.
This Curse of Misfortunes coming? Curse of Misfortunes.
I'll be honest. I don't know what this does. Is it?
It lets them tutor for a curse during their upkeep. So we have to win the game this turn, I believe. Otherwise, we get locked out of the game.
By what?
There's a curse that's a deafening silence, or there's a rule of law curse.
What? Yeah. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I will not have it. What do you think about casting this Ponder? Bad idea? Good idea?
How much mana do we have? We have 9 mana. So if this Ponder finds a +2 or better, we get to Peer, and then or just start to think about
hold on.
Natural Storm.
Hold on. If we take this Ponder, that would be Storm 7. Burning Wish is 8. Tendrils is 9. I believe that's lethal. So Ponder off this. Activate Claw.
That's lethal. That works. Yeah.
Pretty free here to just take the burden. So Burning Wish is 8. Tendrils is 9. I'm just like double checking my math. Oh, we've already played a land. Whoops.
That's fine.
something. I'm a bad Magic player. Three Burning Wishes in one game.
Well, one of them got taken by a discard spell.
I mean, sure. Semantics. There's 3 Burning Wishes in her exile, Alex. Look at that. Okay, so we won game number 1 against Curse Stompy. So, Alex, would you say that Pulverize won that game?
I would say that it was a good card in that spot, but we also had 4 main deck outs that we were drawing to.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious here if like Pulverize was decent in that spot. You know, that's all. So we definitely want these decays. Our opponent is a black deck, so Veil's fine. We saw a little bit of discard in game one. And it might seem weird to you that we're boarding out a Veil, but almost everything else in this main deck is more crucial. Can't really be like holding up Veil all the time, especially against the deck that's trying to Chalice 1 you. Would you do anything differently?
No, I think you could consider like cutting Ponders, but I think Veil is just better than Ponders, especially because opponent might be playing Chalice zeros and Veil beats Chalice zero, so it's basically a Chain of Vapor in that respect.
All right, I'm willing to try it. So on the play, I would definitely want the Thoughtseize, but on the draw, I don't want it.
Yeah, I think the argument for leaving the Thoughtseize on the board is that it's an out to Mindbreak trap that we can wish for, especially when we're boarding out grids. This is technically turn 1 Echo.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm keeping this hand no matter what. It's just really risky. But I think in order to beat the Dark Ritual Trinisphere deck, sometimes you have to get a little bit lucky.
Yep. And if we do just rip perfect off the top, which I've never seen Bryant do before, we do have this Abrupt Decay.
That doesn't sound like me. Well, there went our Echo plan.
Yeah. Well, if we draw a mana, we can make goblins.
Mana.
All right.
Don't care about that. Give me mana.
Thank you for Storm Count, opponent.
Not mana. So here, it might seem crazy. I think we're just supposed to pass. Like, discard Wishclaw, pass.
I agree. So Ponder can't find us the extra mana because this Chromox doesn't make red. So we're just kind of color screwed that way. So we just need to draw the mana naturally.
Well, that's the game. Here's the land that we need.
Yeah.
Or that would have done it. All right, game 3.
Yeah, that's a brutal rip off the top for the Trinisphere.
All right, so on the play, I'm definitely going to do a Thoughtseize over a Veil. And I'm actually going to do a Ponder over a Veil as well. I just want the most efficient deck possible. Technically, this actually isn't that bad.
Yeah. We get to play out the petals early to attempt to beat Trinisphere. We have this Ponder to find us mana to attempt a turn 2. I like it.
Another Leyline of the Void. Let's find a Lion's Eye Diamond. I would enjoy that.
Yep. LED, Dark Ritual.
The lands aren't bad either.
Yep.
I mean, it's a little bit of a slower game, but it guarantees we have decay mana. Dark Ritual Trinisphere, classic.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to burn a petal and decay this on their end step.
Get
that trash card out of here. The old Dark Ritual Trinisphere Chalice deck.
That's not how Dark Ritual was meant to be played.
Exactly. So we're going to Ponder here, but even if we find Lion's Eye Diamond, it doesn't win the game.
Maybe we should brainstorm then, because we could find LED plus. Sure. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it gives us a guaranteed shuffle effect, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Sekko's pretty bad.
Yep.
It's technically safer to hold the decay, but I feel like if they had something, I don't know.
They couldn't cast anything last turn. Yeah. All right, land isn't bad. So if we play the talisman here, then we need to draw any mana off the top to do
Yeah, that's
something
what I
next
was
turn.
just thinking. But we could also get got by Agent.
Yep.
But you could also play it in a manner where, like, you activate Claw, they try to Agent you, and then you decay the Agent, but then they have a Claw on their turn.
Yeah. Feels like opponent has the agent, not gonna lie.
I would agree. I'm just going to cast Ponder here. Probably pass.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, we're going to
That
pass
might
here,
let us do
but
something next turn.
yeah. Like, this is very obviously an Agent.
Mm-hmm.
Gasp. No need to decay right now.
Yeah, and I would almost even take 3 off of this to... Well, I guess if we're 100% decaying it anyway on end of turn,
Yeah, I was always going to decay it for what it's worth. I wanted to hear your rationale.
yeah. I didn't really have one.
Ooh. And they had the land. All right, so we are now 2-2 to Curse Stompy. Alex, we are back for our final match. My last 2 matches against this opponent were Doomsday and Snow. We're on the play. This is a solid one. What do you think?
I like it. I would keep this all the day long in most matchups. And we can start building towards like a turn 2 extract if that turns out to be relevant in this matchup. Though we're probably just casting Brainstorm on turn 2.
I mean, depending on what our opponent does, I might consider turn 1 on Step Brainstorm.
Yeah, that's definitely a line that is available to us here to try and hit land 2.
Looks like Doomsday. Oh, it's the mirror.
I hope so.
Nope, it's not the mirror. But it is a good extract matchup.
Yep.
We could have won this if we had known that our opponent was on this deck.
Yeah.
Uh,
We should look at their deck.
no.
Oh.
Alright, so we're supposed to board in decays because they're cards we can imprint for colors. Thoughtseize on the play isn't bad. I mean, technically you're right, Alex. I'm just not doing that.
Yeah, I just want to see if they're playing the Veil of Summers or not.
It doesn't change my play. Like, if I open up a turn 1 extract, I'm going for it. Like, if they have it, they have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the extract lets us mulligan pretty aggressively, which is super nice in this matchup. Because all we need is 1 red, blue to attempt to win the game.
Yep. And once again, if you're enjoying this content, please go to the description below, join all of our groups, subscribe, all that good stuff. I would greatly appreciate it.
All right. I think, in fact, we do want to play first.
Well, this has a turn 1 decay. Or not decay, Thoughtseize. Honestly, I think I might keep this. Like, is that crazy?
No. Thoughtseize into Brainstorm, I think, buys us enough time to do things.
They kept 7.
Technically, we could even do both.
Well, let's make a educated decision based on what we see.
Mm-hmm.
Force of Vigor.
That's terrifying.
I think it's just Dark Ret.
Yeah. This Force of Vigor is going to be hard to keep with the hand we kept.
Well, the problem is that any mana off the top just allows them to win.
Yeah, I agree.
think we just pass.
Yeah. It's possible that the hope here is that opponent gets antsy with their Force of Vigor, but I think that they're just committed to holding up Veil of Summer.
Yeah. Jeez. I think we just have to pass here.
Mm-hmm.
We're so close to being dead, too.
I mean, opponent doesn't have a black source.
That doesn't mean that we're not close to being dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting that they are protected from extract at the moment as well.
Yep.
Yikes. We are locked. We almost have to let them force a vigor.
Yeah. You just have to eat it, kind of.
So the trick here is to make it seem like this LED doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't. We're just screwed no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to draw through our brainstorm lock and hopefully hit a red mana.
Yep.
Ooh, they removed a Summoner's Pact.
And they cantripped off a Veil, so game is afoot.
Alright, so they have 2 Veils left in their deck. Now we're about to draw a fresh card, assuming we're still alive. There's their black source.
Yep.
What? They
Pitch
imprinted
blue
an
card?
Archamoeba. What? That's a slap in the face. I think we just discard Decay here.
Uh-huh.
Why would you imprint an Archamoeba? You have double Spy in hand. Come on, Doc.
Our opponent's playing the Landless deck, not us.
Oh. The old... okay, so now we're dead. Turn to... oh my god, why did they not do it? Did they draw... did they draw all their stuff? Come on. This is embarrassing.
I don't understand what's going on in this game.
Are they trying to
They
play
have
around,
like
like surgical or something? They want to pack backup? So that way they can pay for pack in their upkeep?
I don't know. I think we make them show us their deck, though.
What's going on here?
I have no idea.
Well, they're definitely killing us. Because they went and got 2 ESGs for no reason.
Okay.
Did they draw all their Narcomoebas? No. So the Oracle's in their hand. That was the issue. They needed blue to cast Oracle.
Oh. Because I guess they took out the Cabal therapy.
I mean, the therapy's in their hand, but... or in their graveyard. It's right there.
Oh, okay, missed that. Yeah, then we were just dead last turn.
I think that they wanted pack back up too, maybe. Because they left
I have no idea.
for some reason. Like Pact is not relevant against us, but yeah, dude, we have Maverick Trap in our ad nauseam deck. Um, yeah, we just had nothing. We also drew nothing in 11 turns.
Yeah.
That was a disappointment of a league. 2-3. Let's look at the list though. Like, is there anything that you think had a direct impact based on our list?
I don't think so. I think we definitely had some awkward sideboarding in the non-blue matchups, but that's kind of what we prepared this sideboard for, was to say we're probably good enough against the non-blue decks, so we're just gonna sacrifice sideboard space in those matchups to beat the blue decks.
Yeah, that's definitely
And I think we
true.
just got a little bit unlucky.
So it's worth noting that like we could go back to like the double chain, not playing extract, but like extract was a live draw um, for that match. And I mean, like if we had
Mhm.
known that our opponent was on oops in game one, we had a turn one, so that's a little
Yeah.
bit unfortunate. Um, I mean, you just how are you supposed to know that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hypothetically, if there was a couple cards that were removed from the legacy format, we necessarily wouldn't need to play all these green cards in the board, and we could bring back some old favorites like Chain of Vapor. Um, I don't even know, honestly, if like Dreadhorde was to leave. I don't know if like I know Alex is emotionally attached to this card. I'm not convinced I would still play it, but need to see how the meta shakes out and that sort of thing.
Yeah, depending on how many blue decks were there. It also depends on exactly what gets banned. Like we don't know what if Wizards will do anything, and if they do it, what they'll do. Like I think that there's a lot of contingencies, and really the sideboard's reaction to like what other people are doing.
I would
Like
agree with
probably
that.
a stock sideboard to start with would be like more removal spells in general. Uh, Probably still the extract, because I think people would try to exploit a format where blue decks just got super punished with more oops all spells and doomsday style decks.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that that actually matters. Like I know they're only one individual, but like the Anurag Das Snow Day list plays one Oko uh, in the entire 75, no Dread Hordes. So if those two cards were to leave, that's a blue deck that still runs Force of Negation, has card advantage engines. Like
Mm-hmm.
that deck could still be fine. I don't know. But this is our list for
Yeah.
now. Alex, do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
Uh, no, I think our list is fine. I think we ran into some variants that was unfortunate, but we had some good games, some
Yeah.
good matches.
And I'll be honest, I don't really care about leagues. I try to do well in larger events, and I think that we face some decks in this league that you're not usually likely to face in larger events, like Mono Black Curses and sorry Maverick friends, but your deck's not very popular, so it is what it is. Then again, the blue decks we beat aren't exactly popular either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, thank you for watching. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, you enjoyed it despite our terrible record. Um, See ya. Hey, Brian Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.